All right. Cowboys 49ers, one of the best uniform matchups in all of sports. I think this game could go either way. Let's just get into it. First, we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys offense and how they will attack the great 49ers defense. You look at the Cowboys and 49ers Pro Football Focus grades in select categories. We're talking about the Cowboys offense and the 49ers defense here. One thing worth noting is that for Dallas, 18th graded passing attack. This is Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott factored in. This is just all season. Receiving core, 12th best, going up against PFF's number 1 rated coverage unit. That's scary to go up against, right? For Dallas, you're definitely a bit concerned about that. Now, the one thing you have to say, though, is that Tampa Bay had graded very well, and they just torched them last week. So Dak Prescott didn't look like the 18th best quarterback in that game. He might have looked like the best quarterback, in that situation. So definitely something where we've seen this Dallas Cowboys offense have some tough days, but we've seen them have some good days as well. So maybe looking at just the overall throughout the course of the season stuff isn't the best way to view it, but still it's a good tool to use. Dallas has been kind of middle of the road in terms of pass blocking. San Francisco obviously rushed the passer very well. So again, tough team to throw the ball on, although we have seen a couple teams do it, and we'll get into it once we get into the film, kind of maybe ways you can do it. But also worth noting with the running game, Dallas does like to get the running game going. Not easy to do it against San Francisco. 4th best run defense, according to PFF. Dallas has been solid at running the ball. They've had some really great moments. They haven't been consistent enough to be one of the best teams in football, but still have a sort of a top 10 running unit there. So let's start off with this play. Kind of some of the film I wanted to use for this one because, Dallas and San Francisco did not play this season, although obviously they played in the playoffs last season. That was in the wild card round where San Francisco pulled off the upset to win there. Now Dallas trying to pull off the upset. But the way that this works is it's a quarters coverage play. This is a lot of what San Francisco likes to do, and that's why I picked this game particularly, because they're kind of similar teams, both in the fact that their good defense is San Francisco and Philadelphia, but schematically, a lot of what San Francisco likes to do is they like to play these 2 safety deep coverages. They mix it up. They don't just do one thing, but if you had to say what do they do the most, it probably is quarters coverage. And so one thing I thought of that maybe Dallas could do is what they're going to do on this play. Prescott takes the snap, and he's going to look down the field, and right here, he notices that he does have a running lane if he wants to take it. And, we saw Prescott use his legs in the Tampa Bay game. I do think that come playoff time, quarterbacks are more likely to use their legs because, hey, if you're going to take a hit, now's the time to do it. But you see Prescott ends up having a running lane. He picks up a decent amount of yards. Again, typically, when you think about running the football as a quarterback, you think about man coverage. That tends to be the way to do it, because in zone coverage, you have 7 defenders who are, looking your direction. I guess technically all 11 defenders looking your direction. Whereas in man, you have at least 5 guys playing man coverage looking at somebody else. However, if it's quarters coverage, that at least puts 4 of those defenders further down the field and makes running with the football as a quarterback at least more possible, like we saw here for Prescott. And I wonder if he's going to try and do stuff like that later on, in this playoff game, just when it's available. I don't think he's not going to rush for 100 yards, right? But I wonder if he could do this on a couple of key plays. Another thing is something like this, Dallas, you got to give their coaching staff a lot of credit. We've all made our Mike McCarthy jokes over the years, but this has been a great year for him and a great year for just the coaching staffs in general, not just him, but, offensive and defensive coordinators doing great stuff. On this play, it's going to be a cover 3 zone, which again, that's a lot of what San Francisco does as well, is they play quarters, but then they'll drop a safety and play cover 3. That's kind of their thing, as it is with a lot of teams in today's NFL, what they do. But for Dallas, what they're doing is running a concept designed to beat cover 3, where you have basically 2 receivers who are running routes that are eventually going to get into the deep corners zone on the top right-hand corner of your screen. Now, there's a way you can defend this, right? The safety for Philadelphia, if he comes over and he defends that deeper route, well then, okay, this play did not work. But he has to read it in time. Watch as when Prescott takes the snap, right here, there's a window to make this throw. It's a tough throw, but if you're going to win the game, you have to be able to make these throws. Prescott makes this throw early, which I loved. I thought that it was a smart play by him, not waiting and trying to get the touchdown right away, making the throw early. They still ended up getting the touchdown, whereas, you would have thought that would have been a tackle at about the 5, But either way, that was a smart play by Prescott, making the throw a little bit early, maximizing that window that you had, but a good offensive play call to get guys open. Good route by CeeDee Lamb and everyone involved really as well. But when Dallas is working at their best, this is what they're capable of doing, and it's something I could see them do against San Francisco. Now, going over here, this is something I've seen enough from Mike McCarthy teams that I feel like I have to point it out. I paused it right here. I don't have anything on the screen because it's going to be a bit of an exotic play call. We've seen this stuff happen, I feel like, a lot, and I feel like more often than not in big games backfires as opposed to works. Mike McCarthy loves to get creative. You know, we've seen him use offensive linemen as like fullbacks. We even saw him do that in the Tampa Bay game, which I don't think it really hurt them, but didn't seem to help them either, and just not something I like too much. Something like this, where you see Prescott, he's going to flip the ball back, but then the ball gets flipped back to him, where he tries to throw, but eventually just gets sacked. The reality is, when you play good defenses, they tend to be all over you on stuff like that. And Dallas loves their trick plays. Mike McCarthy loves his trick plays, especially in big games. I hope they don't do that in this one. I just don't think that's the right play call. I don't think that's the right move right here. I don't think they have to, but really. I don't think that that's something they have to do. I think they'll be fine just running traditional offenses. And again, you know, it's worked as well. It doesn't always backfire. But against San Francisco, there's just too many playmakers there. I've seen that this Dallas team do that too much. I don't want to see them do it in this one. That's my opinion on it. I also want to talk about something like this, though. So this is kind of more of a traditional way you beat a cover 3 zone, right? You have kind of 3 guys who are going to eventually be sort of outside the numbers to the offenses, right? You also run a play action to hopefully get linebackers out of position. There's only 2 guys who are designed to cover outside the numbers there. So a third guy could read it and get over and get in position, but hopefully with the play action, he's not able to get there in time, and now you have somebody who's open. However, when Prescott takes the snap, this is going to be really well defended by the Eagles. I mean, Eagles not letting anything get open down the field. They get the pressure quickly. So, okay, good defense by Philadelphia, and, you know, again, we assume that on these plays, San Francisco will have good defense as well, forcing Dak Prescott to throw to the underneath route. Prescott does that, although Ferguson on this play is actually going to do a great job after the catch, and it does kind of make you wonder if this is maybe what we should expect by both teams in a way, right? On one hand, we expect San Francisco to be able to defend very well. That's something that we're going in with expectations of. On the flip side, for the Dallas Cowboys, they do have guys who can make plays, right? Like Tony Pollard can make plays. You've seen, Dalton Schultz be able to make plays. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb can make plays, and if you have to throw underneath and try to let some playmakers do some stuff after the catch, that's not the worst position to be in either. So, okay, prediction time, as the San Francisco defensive points per drive on the season is a league-leading 1.46. They do not give up points hardly at all, whereas the Dallas offensive points per drive on the season is near the top of the league themselves of 2.41. It's interesting how, even though they haven't graded particularly well, they've been putting up points, and at the end of the day, if you're putting up points, what's the difference? What does it matter as long as you're getting points on the board? So what happens in this game? My prediction is 2.0 points per drive, or 20 points in I'm predicting a 10-drive game, so 20 points for the Dallas Cowboys offense. That feels right for me. They were very impressive against Tampa Bay. I did not give them enough credit for what they can do. They scheme stuff up very well. That's probably the main thing I didn't give them credit for, is their coaching staff. Although I just think that in this game, San Francisco will be very well coached as well, I would assume, and San Francisco tends to be in position themselves a lot of times, and I think that could be a potential concern for the Dallas Cowboys. That being said, I think they'll still get some points. This is kind of like, San Francisco only gives up 1.46, Dallas scores 2.41. Kind of my way of splitting the difference a little bit, getting it kind of right in between there. That feels about right for me. Will it be enough for them to win the game? Well, it'll be close. It comes down to just, within a couple of points. I don't want to spoil it just yet, though. I have a whole other video talking about the other side of the ball, Brock Purdy and the 49ers. How will they attack the Cowboys defense? All of that fun stuff. In that one, I will give my final prediction as to who will win. So check that out. It'll be on this channel shortly. So make sure you're subscribed within the next couple of days. It will be here. So definitely look out for that. Again, let me know what you think in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.